I started up my first Skool community with over 100 people already inside, and I set it up within about 2 weeks of deciding that I wanted to move over to Skool. One thing I notice a lot is that people either spend 6 to 12 months behind the scenes thinking about planning and creating content for their membership before they even get started, or they launch and they have only a couple of people inside, which makes it very difficult to get engagement and build energy and activity around your brand new community. Since adopting my minimum viable community setup system, I've since taught it to a bunch of my Emerge and Expand Mastermind students who have gone on to launch their own successful communities. And because I know so many people are thinking about this right now, or have maybe had a bad experience in the past getting their space up and running, I wanted to share with you today my minimum viable community setup. If we haven't met before, I'm Mackenzie-Smith. I support introverted, highly sensitive, and neurodivergent coaches and service-based solopreneurs to create cozy businesses and success on their terms without the empire building pressure. And one thing I know for sure is that the thought of setting up, creating content, and then managing either a free or paid community is one of the biggest things that my solopreneur clients and members stress about. So if that's you too, in this video, I'm going to walk you through my exact minimum viable community plan that I did myself and that I've shared with my mastermind clients, how you can set up your community on Skool or another platform altogether without the overwhelm of having to create a full program and months of content before you can even get started. I'll share my hybrid approach that makes launching feel cozy and sustainable, not exhausting and draining. And it also means launching your group without just 1 or 2 people inside so that you can build the energy and activity that's going to make more people want to join. Whether you're thinking about creating a free community, a paid membership, or something in between, I'll show you how to start with what you have right now, welcome your first members in, and get up and running quickly and invite them along on the journey as you build something that they are excited to be a part of and that's really going to help them. So let me just share with you this checklist that I created for my members. And if you'd like it, please comment below and I will send it to you as well. So step 1 is to choose a platform and a structure. And the approach you choose can impact everything from your income stream to community culture. But the good news is there's no wrong decision. No matter which platform, structure, pricing, or strategy that you go with, you will find that there are examples of people who've had incredible success doing one thing and others that have had similar success doing something completely different. The most important thing is to choose what feels aligned for you right now, knowing that you can always change your mind and there's actually no right or wrong. I find that people trying to make the right decision are ones that will spend months and months agonizing over the smallest choices when they could have had their community up and running, be talking to and connecting with their ideal clients in their community space, and get some of those answers and make those tweaks and changes as they go. When I decided to move to Skool, I had a number of programs that I could have focused on first and plenty of existing content. But instead of moving those groups over, I decided to move what used to be a paid customers and clients group over to Skool and trust that by engaging and connecting with the members more, I would start to see really clearly what it was that they actually needed support with. And so instead of spending 6 months creating the content behind the scenes and then hoping people would join based on that, I was able to connect with them, create a community space, have conversations, and then start to roll out content that answered their questions and their biggest sticking points months later. This helps people to feel like they're a part of something, like they're really being seen and heard in community. And it means that you can create live and really adjust and change based on the things that people are looking for, where they're getting stuck in real time, and you can fill those gaps as you go, which is much harder to do with a lot of pre-created content. So because I knew I was going to be starting my community without a lot of content inside, which is what people really place value on, I gave my existing clients, customers, and members an opportunity to move over from the Facebook group to the Skool community before we launched as founding members. This meant that before the doors even opened, I already had people ready and waiting to go, which just creates so much more energy and atmosphere for new people as they're coming in. It also gives you that energy boost to really show up and deliver for those people. It feels exciting and it feels like something brand new versus putting all of this time and effort in behind the scenes for months and months and then having only 1 or 2 people sign up. It's very hard to stay motivated and energized in that space. So regardless of what you decide to do, whether you're deciding on having a free community, a paid membership, or a hybrid model, one thing that I and my clients have all been testing is doing a kind of pre-launch early bird opportunity for people to join for free for either a set number of members. The popular number seems to be 100, and I feel like that's a really good rounded number number to start out with before moving to a lower priced paid community. This gives your most VIP people the opportunity to jump in early while there isn't a lot of content and help to shape the community. It also rewards those people for trusting you and jumping in and trying something new with you, especially on a platform that they might not be familiar with and that might take a little bit of time and energy to remember to come back to and to get used to as well. My main tips that I recommend for this strategy is to either pick your number or a date where the price is going to change. Make sure to create a pre-launch lead up, letting people know that it's coming, giving them plenty of notice, and also letting them know what they can expect when they first join. The other thing that I really recommend as well, instead of people coming through in dribs or drabs, and again, it's going to take some time to build that engagement, holding all of the people when they join, which you can usually do pretty easily, whether it's on Skool or Facebook, where they can click the link to join the group, but then you have to let them in manually. And then it means that everyone is entering on the same day. When I did this in my community, I opened it a couple of days before the official launch, and I had a couple of live events for people to be able to jump into straight away once they'd had the opportunity to just kind of settle, watch the welcome video, and see what was coming that week. I made sure before the group even opened that I had a bit of an itinerary so that people knew what to expect on which days, because I know when people are coming into a new space, they can often feel really overwhelmed. This is also an amazing opportunity to invite past clients, people who have a similar audience to you who are maybe friends or peers, and people that you've maybe connected with on the platform in other groups who will fit in so well with the culture you're trying to create in the community. I had a couple of these people that I had connected with on Skool, and I knew it was going to take time for my introverts in my group to start to feel comfortable on a platform that they were unfamiliar with. Having people who were already familiar with and engaged in other groups as invited guests in my space meant that it wasn't just me trying to convince my new members that Skool was an amazing platform. I had friends who were helping me to do that as well. It just really changes the energy and the vibe when new people are coming in. This hybrid approach allowed people to come in for the 2 weeks before the official launch, people who were paying attention, engaged in my content, and reading my emails. They got to take advantage of that opportunity, get in early, and then it meant that when the doors opened, I had over 100 people in there from the get-go, which makes it so much more appealing to new people when they can see there's already people inside. The thing that I really like about this strategy is that a free community is great, but eventually it gets to a point where you then need to maybe open a second one to invite people to upgrade to. There's a lot of time and energy that goes into a free group, and this can be something that is very draining on your energy, especially if you're a solopreneur and having to manage it all yourself. A paid group can provide income immediately, and especially on a platform like Skool where you are paying to have that space, wanting to offset that monthly membership fee is of course a priority to so many people. But you really need to do a full-on launch and know that you have enough people in your audience ready to go to ensure that you have enough people coming in for that early launch. What I love about the hybrid approach is it offers that early access for free, then transitions to paid, which is perfect for giving you that extra momentum and really rewarding your most loyal community members. Point 2 is to create a warm welcome experience. So this is going to be slightly different at the very start of your community when you're first opening the doors and inviting people in, to then what you create for new people who are coming through the doors each week. And the reason this matters is because those first impressions really help people to decide if they want to stick around or if they're going to leave after their first month. A thoughtful welcome experience makes members feel seen, heard, and valued. And even if you don't have your full content library mapped out yet, include your members in the decision-making process and the direction that the group moves in. A couple of other things I did when I first launched the Cozy Business Common Room was I still ran it as a launch. So I had emails going out. I gave people plenty of notice it was coming so that as soon as they came in, they knew exactly what to expect. We kicked things off with a housewarming huddle, which was really just a Zoom live experience for people who could make it to come in, connect with me and each other. We had prizes and giveaways, and it was an opportunity to answer any questions people had about the platform, as well as share my vision for what I saw this becoming. So here's what made my welcome experience effective and what I would definitely recommend having set up, even if you're not worrying about having too much content in from the beginning. A welcome video inviting people into the group, giving a little bit of your vision, and also answering some of those FAQs about where to find things, how to manage their notifications, their membership, find content in the classroom, understand the categories and the leaderboard and the calendar. And Skool has actually just added in their own onboarding video, which is about a minute, which really answers a lot of those questions. Creating an introduction thread, because when people come into a brand new space, sometimes the thought of creating a post and introducing themselves feels too much. And so having a pinned introduction thread sets a bit of the tone so people know what to do do, and it allows them to kind of just ease into the space. Having that little housewarming huddle was a really great starting point, and having giveaways and things just really added that extra energy into the group right from the first day. If you have a vision and you've got content that you want to create, a lot of these are drafts to be able to show people visually what's coming before you've created anything. You can also set up things in Skool specifically, such as membership questions when you're inviting people in for free. Once you turn it into a paid community, you can't use this feature anymore, but it's really good for collecting email addresses and getting an idea for where people are at as they're coming into the group. You can set up a auto DM for new people who are joining, that as soon as they join the group, they get an automated DM where you can send them to the welcome video, your introduction post, an onboarding call link, or you can simply just welcome them to the space. And these are all little things that you can do to make people feel really seen and welcomed as you're bringing them into the community. Especially when you're a solopreneur, it can be difficult to be managing both a launch, onboarding, and continuing to nurture new people. And I talked about this a little bit in my last video about closing the doors to my offers so that I can manage my launch windows, my onboarding, and my community nurturing even better. And then the third thing I did that I think really made an impact in the Cozy Business Common Room in those early weeks is that I created my 7-day Cozy Business Reset. Now, I didn't have this up and running before the community started because I was focusing on the launch. Once the doors opened and everyone was coming in, I gave them a day or two to get acquainted with the space, to introduce themselves, start to feel comfortable with that. And then I created my 7-day reset, a little lesson and a prompt for a mini quest for them to be able to get started. This also means when new people are joining, there is a really easy starting point for them. And this also works really well when I have my 7-day trial turned on so that people are nurtured in that first 7 days. And they're not only getting small wins each day that they're there, it also leads to a bigger win at the end of the week. And I think this is a really great way to set people up to feel supported, even if you're not there holding their hands the whole way. I actually took this strategy from my Evergreen email adventure, which is basically a free lead magnet that instead of being just a PDF or a checklist or something like that, people are actually opting in to 7 days of emails from you with a small prompt and a quick win each day that compounds into a bigger transformation at the end of the week. The thing I love about this strategy is that you can keep it really simple. And in fact, the more simple, the better. But it creates a really amazing starting point for people coming into your community, whether it's your email community or a space like your Skool group. And it means people are actually interested and excited to check in each day and to receive emails from you, which using a normal email strategy welcome sequence, you usually get high open rates on the first email when people get their free resource. But then as the days of your welcome sequence go on, those open rates drop drastically. The thing about the 7-day email adventure is that people know that they're opting in to get 7 days of emails from you. And with my own journey that I created, I saw those open rates stay high for the entire week, which is so different from what we're used to expecting. What I love about taking this strategy and using it in a community space is that it means you have engagement prompts, you have things people can work through all together when you first launch, but that people can keep coming back to you as they're joining your group. And what I love about on Skool is that you can set this up in the classroom. I actually built this out as I went, and you can pin threads from the community to the classroom so that even when a new person comes in and is going through this, they can keep engaging in conversations that maybe started months and months ago. As you can see here, the last comment on this post was from 20 hours ago, but this is a thread that started back in September when I first opened the group. I love this because it's a way to actually invite new people in and make them feel immediately part of the conversation. Plus, they're getting those quick daily wins. And so they're more likely to stay because they feel included, because they've started taking action and implementing straight away, and because it's such an easy place to start with. It's not a big course. It's not something they're going to get overwhelmed with or feel lost. And my favorite thing about this is how easily it translates regardless of which niche you're in, whether you're doing B2B or B2C. I have clients who are energy healers, who are fitness professionals, who are SEO experts and AI people, and they've all been able to create something really simple to invite new people in and get 7 days of quick wins. This also means that members get to feel the value of the community and why they might want to stick around. Those small achievable transformations help to build trust and keep the conversation and engagement flowing. I was doing it on the day that I was dropping it, and it took me about 15 minutes per day for something that is still getting engagement 6 months months later. It also means that instead of creating an elaborate course for people before I was able to launch my community, I've had the last 6 months of people going through the reset, asking questions on live weekly Q&As, sharing their wins and asking questions in the group. And I've learned so much more about my members and what it is that they really need, where they're getting stuck, than just assuming that I already know. This means that as I'm rolling out content in the community and I'm doing it live, I'm able to get real-time feedback from them and add additional resources and trainings, implementation and support to create this flexible and fluid style of content that I know is going to support them so much better than a rigid approach of something that is static that I created months and months ago. The one thing that I think is really important if you decide to launch a minimum viable community like this is to really communicate it well. And by having something like a 7-day adventure, a 7-day challenge, a reset, whatever it might be, is that you're letting people know there's not a huge amount of content when you come in, but as soon as the group opens, we're going to kick things off with 7 days working together, getting to know each other and starting to engage and get some wins on the board. If this is something you think you might like to adopt, this is a really simple way to get started. Think about one of the biggest things that your people struggle with, ask you about, or seem to be challenged by when they first come into contact with you, and how they can get a quick win over a series of days. I know that for my people, they've spent their whole lives being told what success should look like and what they need to be doing in their business that's often so out of alignment with what they actually want. So I created the 7-day Cozy Business Reset to help them to start to think from the beginning what it is that they'd actually like, so that they can evaluate straight up what beliefs they're buying into that aren't serving them, what their values, actions, and goals are leading them towards, and whether the Cozy Business Common Room is actually the place that they want to be. I recommend starting with the smallest thing possible, even though that sounds like a massive thing. It's actually just getting them to start tracking what they're doing and starting to observe and reflect each day. So create a mini transformation that you can roll out over the course of the first 7 to 10 days. Break that down into micro steps so that each day, if they take the action and they follow the prompt, they get that little win, and create a really short prompt. So sometimes people go and get way too complicated, give way too much information. I would recommend nothing longer than a 5-minute video, one journal prompt, or one resource that's going to help them to take action today on that one step that you've shared with them. This gives people a reason to keep coming back each day, which is going to get them into a really great habit of checking the community often and starting to engage with the other members by having a prompt thread that you can pin to the course so that they can contribute and get involved from the first day they join. This created so much energy and activity in my group in that first week, and it meant it didn't overwhelm me or the members, but it really set the tone for what the community was going to be about as well. So let me just recap this quickly for you. If this feels like something you'd really like to start so you can get your community up and running quickly, and then give yourself space and time to get to know your people and create content or trainings for them that are really going to help them to get where they want to go. Start with a hybrid approach to build momentum and make sure that your community is starting with people who are excited to be there. Make a choice about whether you're going to cap it at a number of members or a date before you turn it into a paid experience. Create a warm, welcome experience with live elements that just create extra energy and activity, and something that people want to get in on so that they can come along to those live events. To get up and running faster without spending months and months creating a full-blown program, consider starting with something like a small 3, 5, 7, or 10-day challenge with small prompts each day and maybe a small video or resource for people to be able to dive into, so that you again create that energy and momentum and give them a reason to start getting into a habit of checking the group. Schedule a few small events to get started with and create that community vibe. I highly recommend, if you have the capacity for it or it's something you feel confident doing, jumping on a Zoom call so that everyone can feel like they're a part of something and connect with each other. And then also consider having even a monthly Q&A session, which you can do as a live stream, where people can pre-submit questions and they get to see your face as you show up and answer their questions on a video. If you're not comfortable to do that yet, you could always start with just pre-recording the video or just sharing short tips and things as you start to get more comfortable doing so. And be transparent about your vision and what's coming next. If you're familiar with Simon Sinek, you'll know his start with why philosophy is so important for community and trust building. And this is the ultimate part of that, where you share your vision with your people, you let them know you're going to be building it out together, and they get that immediate buy-in where they feel like they are contributing and really a part of something they believe in. And if you're not going to be starting out with any content in your community, prepare one small resource as a joining bonus. So in the common room, I actually shared my Cozy Business Roadmap, which is a full Notion dashboard dashboard with mini trainings and exercises in it as a thank you for jumping in early while there wasn't too much content in there. And as you can see in the classroom now, that has built out. I have added new resources. And like I said before, there are some draft things in here that only I can see, but that have allowed me to show people what is coming in my welcome video. This also gives people another reason to join, especially because people can buy that roadmap separately or they get it for free when they join the Cozy Business Common Room. So I hope that gives you some ideas about how you can start a minimum viable community without stressing yourself out and having to create a whole heap of content, deliverables, resources, and trainings, and also to not start your community and just have 1 or 2 people in there. I can't tell you how many posts I've seen in Skool groups that I'm in where people have launched their group on a whim and then are freaking out because they only have 1 or 2 people. One last tip before you go is to even make a list of people you're already connected with who have a similar audience to you, who are not necessarily your competitors, but they're doing similar things or they have shared values that you can invite to be part of the community, and maybe even ask them to share that with their people too. When you have friends, peers, your cheerleaders and supporters, and your inner circle of clients and customers who join you nice and early, then it doesn't really matter what happens after that because you've already got your favorite people inside of your community. And everything after that is just going to be able to gently build and grow as you connect more with your people, you learn more about what they need, and then you can start to roll out content that's really going to help them. Remember, the most successful communities are not necessarily the ones that are chock full of trainings and content. In fact, a lot of people feel really overwhelmed when they come into a space that has so much in it already. They're the ones where people feel truly seen and supported. So I'd love to know if this has helped you to think about getting your Skool group or another kind of community up and running without overthinking it by adopting this minimum viable approach. If you'd like the checklist that I created for my mastermind clients, please drop a comment below and I will send it to you as well. If you're interested in the Evergreen email adventure and the full strategy, templates, and bonus resources, I will drop all the details below about how you can access that training. No matter what happens, I hope that this helps you to get your community up and running faster so that you can start connecting with your people and supporting them in the way that they really need as quickly as possible. If you're interested in learning about why and how I'm simplifying my offers by actually closing the doors, you can check out that video. Or if you want to know why I think creating a cozy, tight-knit community of dream clients is the perfect cozy business strategy for introverted, highly sensitive, and neurodiverse solopreneurs, you can check that one out as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.